Ah, nuts.
Oh dear. What's up, Mrs. Carla?
Johnny left behind an urgent package for Pinewood Island, and I've got no one to take it there now.
I could take it if you want. I've got the mail car you had to pick up from the coachworks on me.
Well, if you want to, but are you sure you're gonna get to Crotoonia Bay on time?
No sweat. I'm the fastest chugger in town. Nothing slows me down. I've gone down too fast on the junction.
Roller freight, whoa!
Big Tim, where's the next track to the main line?
Oh, that's easy. Just go through the quarry and you're back on the main line.
Thanks. Catch you later, Tim.
Oh, Coco, you look like you were in a hurry.
Just a special delivery for Pinewood Island. Can you get it there?
Funny you should say that because... All aboard! Catch you later, Coco.
Man, I may be the fastest chugger in town, but nothing slows the mail down.
Casey Jr. is a small tender engine who works mixed traffic services on the railways of Crotoonia. He's a smart little engine who knows his way around the railway after working on it for many years. Oh no! Though he is prone to getting into a few scrapes every now and then. One day, he was delivering a train of fuel and coal to the Crotoonian yards of the Dreamfleet Railway Company, one of the many railway companies that work the country's railways. Big Old Rusty, Dreamfleet's oldest steam engine, was arriving with a load of empties. He had just delivered a load of slates from the quarry all the way up to the docks in Crotoonia Bay.
Hey there, C. Junior. How's things?
Pretty good. Just brought over some stuff for your fuel tanks and coal hoppers.
Oh, now that's a relief. You came right in time. We're just a quarter hopper away from being empty.
Good to hear then. Say, where's Tracy?
Tracy, the little shunting engine that worked the yards, who was usually upbeat and cheery, wasn't feeling very well. She'd overworked herself in the hot sun, and, as a result, had overheated her boiler, which was electrically heated instead of using coal or wood to burn.
Oh, sorry, Tracy, but you'll have to go to the works in Colville for repairs. We just can't let you risk your boiler bursting working with all those cars and coaches.
But sir, Who's going to take my mail train? The villagers need to get their packages and letters delivered on schedule.
Casey Jr. rolled up to the workman and Tracy. He had an idea.
Hey, sir! What if I took Tracy's mail train tonight?
You, Casey Jr.? Are you sure?
Sure as sure can be, sir. I just have a goods train to take to the docks at Groflin, so I can work her train later tonight.
Okay, if you're sure. I'll let the mail depot supervisor and Miss Ella know.
Workman called Miss Ella about the plan, which she approved, and the same went for the manager of the mail depot. Casey Jr. took his cars to the harbor and headed back to the sheds for a power nap. Nighttime can be very busy for the few engines who have jobs throughout the night. There's passengers to take home past the station in Norfolk, and freight to go to the factories, towns, and big ships at the harbor. The busiest type of train at night in Crotoonia is the mail train. These trains take special coaches and wagons called mail cars, where the mail is loaded on and sorted en route to their destinations, sometimes traveling by air or road. Casey Jr. was soon at the mail depot, where his wagons and loaded packages were waiting. Edward was also there, helping Johnny with the mainline mail trains.
Evening, Casey.
Evening, Edward. How's things?
Not bad. Mainline traffic's been the same for me. I take it you're taking over for Tracy?
Yep, I'm taking her mail cars all the way down to... where exactly am I taking the mail wagons?
I figured you'd ask that. You're to take all the mail from here to Cliffstone Junction, take care of the mail on the mountain branch lines, and drop off your train at Gardenia Bay Station to let the other postal vehicles and the Pinewood Island mail engines complete the last little bit of work.
Sure thing. Drop off to Cliffstone Junction. Mail for the mountain branch, final stop at the mountains? You sure that's the right place to take them? Because the branch lines have really narrow lanes and really huge cliffs and are really high up in the river.
Calm down, Casey. You're not frightened of the mountains, are you?
Oh, of course not. I go on them all the time. It's the branch lines I'm worried about. Those rickety rails and tight cliffs make me nervous without a clear view.
Well, imagine it's like the main line, and it should be better. Goodbye, Casey Jr. Good luck.
Okay. Thank you.
The men moved quickly to ship the parcels, packages, and letters into Casey Jr.'s mail wagons. They were larger than Tracy's usual wagons, so they could fit a little more into them. Finally, the cars were loaded, and Casey Jr. was on his way. Casey Jr. slowly made his way up the line, a little worried about what would come later on. Soon made his first stop at Cliffstone Junction. Porters and workmen hurried to load and unload the mail for the towns near the stations and beyond the station. Then they set off for the first loop line, which ran from the junction, through the mountain, and up to the town of Rotoslopia. Casey Jr. soon made it to the first big slope. The track was rather steep, and there was little elbow room in the cliffs that surrounded it. It was tough to roll up the mountain at first, but Casey Jr. wasn't willing to give up just yet.
Alright, give it everything we've got. Let's go. I think. Come on, let's go. Come on. I know.
At last, after much pulling and much straining, he was finally at the top of the hill.
Finally!
Tracy Jr. felt much more confident. He didn't feel like slowing down now, imagining himself along the main line as Edward suggested. If only at the worst possible time. Casey, slow down! You're headed straight for me!
Yeah!
Rattling rivets! What happened to you, Glazy Jr.?
Sorry, Pete. I didn't know you were coming down the hill. I was going down so fast. It was hard to see you at the bottom.
First time out with a late night mail run, eh? Well, I can't say I was perfect on me first night run, but I did learn a thing or two from me mistakes. You can't be too confident or too underconfident about working in a new way or with a new job. You just have to go in there and do your best, no matter what. That's what I've learned, at least.
Thanks, Pete.
You're welcome, C. Junior. Right, time to get going.
Pete! Pete! Where's that crate going?
Oi, what crate?
Oh, the one on your last flatbed.
I still don't know what you're rattling rivets! That crate's supposed to be at the docks! It's a specially ordered load of paving stones for a customer in the UK! The ship's leaving at sunrise!
Let me take it for you. I'm on my way to the docks anyway.
Oh, thank you, Goisey Jr. You're a real saint.
Soon, Casey Jr.'s conductor loaded the crate onto his first mail coach, and quickly Casey Jr. puffed away to finish up the mail run. The docks the crate was heading to was at Crotoonia Bay, at the very end of the Crotoonian main line. He knew he had a lot more stops to do, so he put on full steam and got to work as fast as his wheels could let him. He wasted no time getting his other work done. There was some for the manager of Cliffstone Center Quarry, where Speedy, Bill, and Ben worked. A little bit for the manager of the logging camps. A little bit for Rotoscopia Junction. A little bit for the steelworks in Bluesburg. A little bit for Boston. A bit for the search and rescue team. A little bit for his home in Colville Junction. Until at last he was at Crotoonia Bay Junction. The yards were already booming when he got there, and the Pinewood Island mail train and Johnny were waiting for him, ready to depart.
Hey, C. Junior. Where are you heading to?
Delivery for the dock. Back in a bit.
Okay, see you later.
And after everything was done, Casey Jr. brought the crate over to the docks ready for shipping. He caught it in good time, too. The ship was completing its final loading procedures, and the crane wasted no time getting it on board. Later that morning, Sir Alan Featherington, head of operations on the railways of Crotoonia, sent a message for Big Tim to deliver to Casey Jr. Hey, Casey! Got a message from Sir Alan! You seemed to do a good thing last night, bringing that special delivery back to the docks for Pete and sticking to your mail schedule on record time. So much so, he's taking you with him to an important trip to Boston for the weekend. He'll book you tours, a shed, and everything. Isn't that exciting? Casey, you doing okay, buddy? But he didn't get an answer. He was so tired from all the rushing around that he'd fallen fast asleep.
Somebody get this freaking duck away from me!
Early one morning, Harry was struggling to get some freight cars moved from a siding. They were needed for a mixed traffic train that Donald and Douglas were to take to Nantasket Junction.
Come on! Come on! I'm gonna be late for my next job!
He groaned. His wheels spun and spun. The reason why the cars weren't moving at all was because their brakes were set. But he didn't realize this and just kept on pulling and pulling.
Come on! He groaned. I wish I was moving!
instead of standing still. Suddenly, the coupling between him and the first freight car broke, and Harry ran right into a siding, smashed through some buffers, and stopped halfway across an old tramp steamer. Luckily, no one was hurt, but Harry's front was badly bent. Skipper Stu and the harbor master came over to see if Harry was all right.
Well, the only major damage is bent buffers,
said the harbor master. Oh, botheration, said Skipper Stu. Harry and Hamish were to collect the coastline flyer in an hour. Who can we get to take the train on such short notice? Luckily, Russ was close by and heard everything.
I can take it,
he called out.
Are you sure, Russ?
The harbor master called back.
It's a tough train to pull.
Of course, we've got to keep the trains to time, you know.
Well, all right, but we've got to send Hamish to help out with the backlog while Harry's being mended. So you'll need to find another engine who can help you take the coastline flyer.
Yes, ma'am, Russ tooted confidently. I can manage that. But as Russ got closer to Selgreb Bay Harbor, he remembered something he should have kept in mind before. The coastline flyer was an express goods train usually hauled by Harry and Hamish that stops at every harbor along the seaside railway. Starting from Selgreb Bay, it goes on to Croflin and then goes all the way down to Gardenia Bay at the end of the line. Russ was worried, but was sure that he could find someone at Selgreb Bay who'd be happy to lend a wheel, just in case the train was too heavy for him to pull alone. Well, looks like I'll just have to ask the first engine I meet if they'll be able to help me, he decided as he pulled into the bustling dockyard. As he sorted out the containers for his train, he saw a little tank engine sitting on a siding, waiting for help. Hello there, he said. You've got an interesting crane arm. Where's your hook? I'm a reach stacker. I have clamps instead of hooks. That's intriguing. I've never met a reach stacker engine before. Oh, beg pardon for not introducing myself. I'm Stepney, and my name's Russ. I've got a big freight train to take to Gardenia Bay, but I'm not sure if I can do it on my own. I'd be more than willing to lend a buffer, said Stepney cheerfully. I'm catching a ferry there anyway. Great, honked Russ. We'd better hurry if we're to get the goods delivered on time. As the two shunted together the loads to hook up, Russ told him about his work in Croflin and the many different engines he worked with, while Stepney told him about his time in Crotoonia, in which he'd been visiting to be part of a great locomotive show at Selgreb City Sheds, and now had to return to his home in England, the Bluebell Railway. Russ and Stepney decided to take the train in two halves. Russ would haul the containers, and Stepney would haul the other loads, tankers, fish, stone, produce, and products from the factories around the city. When all was shunted and ready, the two set off down the seaside railway with their important train. Unfortunately, they didn't get very far, as the first stretch to get out of the harbor was uphill. They tugged and pulled, but no matter what, the engines couldn't get their trains up the slope. I'm sorry, Russ. This train seems to be a bit tougher to haul up than I thought. You're right, sighed Russ. The coastline flyer is too heavy for both of us to pull separately, and if we leave later, we won't have time to uncouple each of the cars for the docks. Then, as if by magic, both engines came up with the same idea. They decided to arrange each of their trains into two new halves. Cars for Croflin were coupled to Stepney, and cars for Gardenia Bay were coupled to Russ. Both brake vans were coupled together, then Stepney with his train, and then Russ and his train. With an engine hauling at the front and an engine to haul from the middle, the two could get up the hill and on their way down the line. The rearranged train also made it easier to drop off and pick up cargo at the two stops. Stepney's cars were uncoupled, and new cars of steel, fish, and lumber were coupled on. They made it to the docks just in time. Well, it was a pleasure to work with you today, Stepney. It's a pity you have to go home now. Likewise, Russ. But I'm glad your crew have such a good friend. Keep everything in order back home, and who knows, maybe I'll visit here again. Goodbye, Russ, and Godspeed. Russ then rolled home, confident, ready for bed, and glad he had found himself a new friend.
The engines always think they are so clever, and so they like to bump the trucks around. They bump them in the sidings, they bump them in the yard. They better beware, they better take care, they better be on their guard. Tracy pulls the trucks along the line. She's happy and she thinks it's going fine. The trucks all start to moan, they rattle and they groan. Look out Tracy, watch out Tracy, that's a warning sign. Because those troublesome trucks will get the engines every time. Troublesome trucks will run the engines off the line. They push them here and push them there until they go too fast. Then they push them once again, laughing while they crash. Troublesome trucks will get the engines every time. Troublesome trucks will run the engines off the line. They don't care how big they are, to them it's just a game. Those troublesome trucks will get them all the same. Before long Tracy comes to that big hill. It's hard work and she's really got to pull. But soon she's at the top, and then she just won't stop. On, the trucks go faster still. Because those troublesome trucks will get the engines every time. Troublesome trucks will run the engines off the line. They push them here and push them there until they go too fast. Then they push them once again, laughing while they crash. Troublesome trucks will get the engines every time. Troublesome trucks will run the engines off the line. They don't care how big they are, to them it's just a game. Those troublesome trucks will get them all the same. They don't care how big they are, to them it's just a game. Those troublesome trucks will get them all the same.
Shut up! You're not the only one in this highway, pal. Who do you think you are anyway, Sir Topham Hat? Oh, you are. Carry on then. Need a cheese or flake? Why not? Hey, yo, Grumpyman, turn that off.
Crooked cucumbers. They've been playing the same song every 20 minutes. It'd be easier if someone didn't jam a CD in my 8-track player.
I thought it would fit.
Hey, Mr. G. 1965 called. They want their old junk back.
Look, it may be vintage, but it's serviceable. Certainly more so than those laser discs or whatever high-tech garbage you kids are using these days.
I gotta agree with Meg. I'm 2,000 years old, and that thing is pretty dated.
No one ever complained about my stuff before.
Oh, these mountains are gonna be perfect. There's restaurants and parks and waterfalls and...
Not to mention the resort itself. Wave pools and lazy rivers and a ropes course.
This vacation's gonna be great. Sleeping out under the stars, roasting some marshmallows.
Homestar, this isn't a camping trip. It's a business trip.
But I have all these marshmallows. Why didn't you tell me earlier?
I told you at least 12 times.
Well, I'm just glad to spend the weekend not cleaning soot out of a clanking steamer smokestack. What kind of convention we going to again?
I told you, this is a very important convention for the railway... what? Thank you. Mr. Grumpy, Station Master of Selgrub Central speaking, currently on vacation, so if you could kindly...
That you? Oh, thank heaven, I've been trying to reach you for hours. I got the rooms checked in and everything for us, but I've been hoping you guys would be here by now. I prepared a wonderful luncheon of sandwiches and fries in the sweet...
Hey, yo, Duckman! If this was so important, why didn't you just drive us over? I mean, you're the head of the freaking railway board. Don't you got like a party bus or something?
Well, actually, after that whole accident with Gordon, Montana, and Farnsworth, I had to cover some of the budget cuts.
Hey, look! The traffic is moving.
Oh, whoa!
All right, thank God. Let's get out of here.
Oh, there he goes. Like a football across the 50-yard line.
No, it's okay. I'm all right, guys. Don't everybody help at once.
Oh, of course it goes out now. Oh, what was that, the tire? Oh, come on.
So, is it a bad time to say that I sold a spare tile for these marshmallows?
I really should have taken Henry's offer and going there. That feels weird.
Mighty machines, making mighty machines, working for you, doing mighty things there. Mighty machines, lifting and falling and flying so high, building a building up to the sky. You can watch them all day and never know why they're mighty machines. Hear them roar, watch them soar, sit right down and see. There are stories to enjoy for every girl and boy. Mighty machines, really mighty machines, working for you, doing mighty things there. Mighty machines, working for you, doing mighty things there. Mighty machines.
One day, the harbor down at Crotoonia Bay was very busy. Lots of ships were sailing in and out of the docks, and there was a big shipment from Europe coming in shortly. The engines working the docks were rushed off their wheels as the cranes loaded cargo onto their flatbeds and freight cars.
Where are these headed out again, dear?
Selgrub City Freight Yard for the gas and refrigerator containers. The rest go to the docks in Selgrub Harbor.
Understood.
How much more coal does this blasted ship need?
About 6 more wagons. They're parked by the supplier's yard.
The ship just radioed in to say it's coming into the coast. I'm going out to bring it in. I'll bridge the other tugs to help.
Thanks, 10 cents.
It soon became apparent that other engines were needed at the docks, since there was too much for the harbor yard engines to do on their own.
Morning, Pepper Pete. Hi, Edward.
Morning, Lazy.
It's Tracy, Pete. Tracy.
Oh, that's what I said, didn't I? Anyway, what are you off to this morning?
Some mail got misdelivered?
Nope, I'm heading off to the docks.
The docks? That's a busy place for you to work at.
Yeah, but I've worked there before, so I can take care of myself there.
Hope it all goes well then.
Good luck, youngster. Just mind the bigger work you're given.
I will.
Tracy made record time getting to the harbor. She couldn't wait to start work by the beautiful seaside. When she got there, 10 Cents and some other tugs had managed to get the ship into the port. It was huge, heavily loaded with goods, and ready for unloading and reloading. Tracy was rushing towards Emma and the ship, ready to double-check what her jobs were, when...
Watch where you're going, you dinky little engine!
Important engines with more important freight coming through.
Oh no, not Cerberus and Diesel 10. What are they doing here?
They've come to help out with the heavy goods.
What? Them? Why couldn't you get someone like the haulers at the Groflin docks?
They're really busy too. We didn't have a lot of engines free today with all the deliveries coming in, so we've had to work with all we've got.
Well, I suppose that's understandable. So, what do you want me to do today? Shunting big trains on the main dock again?
Sorry, Tracy, not this time. I need you to help Trix and Skip at the supplier's yard. They've got a lot of deliveries and materials to get out, so they need someone to help sort out the trains.
Okay, who's Trix and Skip?
You'll find out. They're a nice couple of machines.
Emma was right. Trix and Skip are as nice as they are hard-working. Trix the forklift zips about the yard loading cargo for the trains and trucks that come to the dock, while Skip takes garbage from the building sites and yards down to the dump. Whenever he's paying attention, that is.
Rattling rods! Look at all this stuff! Oh, you must be Trix and Skip.
We certainly are. And you've got to be... Oh! Ouch! Tracy!
Indeed I am. So, what do I have to shift?
Oh, well, for a start, you can shove those bricks and lumber together. They're going up to Prillam for the new townhouses.
And then you can get those empties to Cranky so we can load up the special stuff that just arrived for the mainland.
I'm on it. I'll get it done in no time. Flat.
Down by the docks. That's the place to be. Down by the docks, the gateway to the sea. Down by the dockside, we are the team, working together, just like family. Down by the docks, you're never on your own. Down by the docks, it's really home from home. Down by the dockside, down by the dockside, down by the dockside, it's where we want to be. Down by the docks, it's where we want to be.
Later that afternoon, Diesel 10 and Cerberus were just heading out to the Crotoonia Bay goods depot with a long line of cars when Diesel crossly rolled alongside. And where do you think you two are going?
Another load of crummy wagons. What's so bad about that?
We've got a load coming in from on those narrow gauges at the junction, and one of you has to take it.
Don't see why it has to be us. We've been hauling all morning.
I know someone who would.
Hey, Diesel! What's up?
Dockmaster Noisy just said you've got a special to pick up from the junction.
Really? A special?
Oh yes, some goods from the hills going down here. They need those wagons urgently.
Wow, that's something for a little engine like me.
Tracy, are you sure we should do that? And from orders from Debrius Diesel?
Hey, 10 cents! That delivery from the junction here yet?
Not yet, Dockmaster. Should be here soon, though.
Well, what do you... Oh, no!
Tracy had wasted no time getting to the junction. The cars were already waiting for her, freshly loaded up with heavy goods.
I got these buffers buffed. Now, Tracy was not inexperienced at pulling goods trains, but she'd never really hauled goods trains this heavy before, and usually the goods trains were kept to the flatter parts of the railway. And she was finding out very quickly that they were a lot harder to control than she thought. Are you guys sure she's pulled the heavy goods before? Cause it's not looking like that to me. Yeah, I'm getting vibes she's an amateur. My buffer feels like a cut of switch. Got it.
Why she giving her the right of way? We got the right of way. Good grief!
Hey, like, guys, I got an idea, so hear me out. Why don't we, like, push you down the big hill a little bit? You know, not like in a mean way, just kind of like, you know, hey, teach you for next time kind of way. Not supposed to be hard or anything.
Do you really want to do this right now?
I mean, if it makes you guys happy, I'm having a fun ride back here. You know what, Joe? I don't always agree with you, but let's do this. Everyone in favor? Clang. Good. Let's do it. We'll talk about good timing, because here it comes now.
So is this going to be like an easy push on her? Because I'm not sure what the plan is here right now.
Right. Only about a mile more, and we'll be... what the... come on! Slow down!
I don't think so!
Tracy tried to apply her brakes, but it was too late. The cars were pushing her faster and faster down the line, and not even the brake van could help.
Runaway train! Oh, goodness! Stop!
The out-of-control Tracy and her cars were sent speeding along through the docks and down the line towards the old wooden pier.
So, Joe, did you forget about the giant pin we're about to crash off of? I didn't know it was there. I thought we were going to lose the office or something.
Luckily, 10 Cents had been docking a sand barge near the pier and had set it up to make a makeshift arrestor bed when he saw her coming down.
Oh, thanks, 10 cents. I owe you one.
No problem, mate. I'll go and fetch a crane. Then you can get some of that sand out of your valves.
Because the tide was too low to lift her out, Tracy had to sit in the barge for some time. A little bit happened while she waited. Cars were delivered. Engines were found out and punished. And ships shouted, "Anchors away!" But even as Bonavista finally arrived to lift her out of the barge, Tracy still felt ashamed for causing an accident by jumping into a situation she wasn't prepared for. As the workmen got ready to lift Tracy out from the barge, Emma, Trick, Skip, and Luke all came to help out any way they could.
Engine secured. Bring her up, boys.
Now, don't be hard on yourself, kid. It wasn't all your fault. Those three were looking for an easy way out of a situation, and you got tricked into it. From what I heard from these two, you were a big help. Yeah, you were a huge help getting all the deliveries out today.
Even if you got a little sandy.
Thanks, guys. And I learned something else, too.
Well, what's that?
10 cents to trap for the baseball team with his catching skills.
Oh, I get it! Kelsey got you
Welcome to Crotoonian Shoots, the program in which we see the railways of Crotoonia in all of its raw wonder. Mind the gap, we're about to visit the busy town of Foston and its freight and passenger stations.
express, Cliffstone Junction. Find the gas and let's go. Welcome to Crotoonian Shoots, the program in which we see the railways of Crotoonia in all of its raw wonder. Get your finest climbing gear, because today we'll be exploring the workings of the Cliffstone Mountains.
On your nose. Seaside, we're off to the seaside. We're gonna have a lovely day. Just one more hill to climb and we'll be there. Sounds of the seaside start to fill the air. When someone shouts out excitedly,
"Look over there, everybody! I can see the sea!"
Seaside, we're off to the seaside. Buckets and spades, all the fairground arcade. Seaside, we're off to the seaside. We're gonna have a lovely day. When it's cold in winter time, still you can be there anytime. Just close your eyes, count 1, 2, 3. Dream your dream and once again be by the sea. Miss Ella and friends arrive to greet the train. She is so pleased that Tilly's right on time. So much excitement, so much glee.